Everyone, in the last video we went through Svelte and we went through the article where they were mentioning something related to how Inferno is better than them and they are better than other frameworks and how they are able to do it. We have covered it in the last video, and then we went through the tutorial where we basically went through the introduction and reactivity. Today we are going to go through props. So let's see props. It looks like similar to React, where you can basically just put props like here and it would be done, right? You can do this, and similarly like you can put default values in it and that would work even if you don't pass value from here. You can spread values similar to JavaScript. This is a concept of JavaScript. You can do this, or you can do rest operator on it. Similarly, like you can use if block, something like this, but they are not allowing this. So you can do this, and you can do hash if count is greater than 10. If that's the case, you just say p count is greater than 10. And how do you close it? With the hash. So you start with you start with hash and you close with /, and if you want to continue, you use semicolon like this. So if you want to put something in between and you say else, and you want to do something like this, right? P is between 0 and 10. Similarly, like if you want to do else if, you can do that as well. It's like continuation itself, so you can do count is less than 5, and here you can do count is less than 5. So that was this else if. So you saw like how you start with hash, you continue with colon, semicolon, and you end with /. Similarly, if you want to do each, so you can just do this and you do this hash each, and you do colors as color, and then you close like this. And if your button like this, you do this. And now you want to do replace this color, you do this. Here you can just do this, and here there is, as there is already a curly brace, you don't need a curly brace, and you can do this. With that, you can do something like this. And if you want to check I like index, you can do like this, right? Now if you don't add keys to things, they would basically remove the last element and update the content over there. So if you see, we want to remove the first, so it should remove this icon and text both, but it would keep the icon because the index is still 0, because this is working on index basis. And if you want to do this, you can do something like thing.id. you can even pass object as well. So if you do this, you are correctly able to do this. Similarly, they have provided option for promises as well. So you can do await promise, you can do something like this, and you can do await. And if you want then block, you can do like this, where like let's say you receive number and you see p, you rolled a number, right? And you're done with your p. And similarly, you can catch, and catch would have error, which you can again throw it, right? Which could say error dot message, and you can do something like this. And here you can pass style, which would be color red, right? And you pass this here. So if you do this, request failed, you rolled a 1, right? And if you don't want to do this, you can copy this, await promise, then, and you remove this ruling. Let's say you just don't want this, you don't want loading state, right? Similarly, like if you want to read to pointer events, you can do things like this, which is on pointer move, and you can say on pointer move, right? And if you do this, it's like this, or if you don't want to do this, you can do this, and again you should be able to do this same way. Similarly, you can pass on this, wherein like if you want to pass this where you have event, and then you do this, and here you can do this way as well, right? Inline function, which you can do with JavaScript as well. Similarly, there is a bubbling phase, which and there is a capturing phase. So capturing happens and then bubbling happens. So anything, like if you want to, like if I type something, it goes for input first and then it goes for div. So what is happening is, because I guess, like notice what happens if you type something into input in this form. They ran during bubbling phase, as the event bubbles from target up to the document. So event bubbles up, so event bubbles up, so event 2 would be here, event 1 would be here. So this is bubble and this is bubble. So bubbling happens from below to top, so this is bubble to top. So if you don't assign anything, so it is captured in the bubbling phase, which happens from bottom to top. So first bottom will be captured and then top will be captured. But if you want to handle something in capture state, which happens first, so first capture happens and then bubbling. So I may not be correct, we may need to validate this. So but if you have capture added anywhere, so capture is taken care first and then bubbling. So you see this, and now if I remove capture from here and I put it down here, then input 1 is done, right? And if I put it both the places, as it's done from top to bottom, first top 1 is handled, right? Similarly, you can create you can pass increment, decrement from here, and here you can do on click, which would be decrement, and here you can say on click, which would be increment. You can increment and decrement like this, and similarly it would be passed from top, and from here stepper you can just pass increment and decrement. So here you can say increment, which would be nothing but there is a function which just add value to this, and then you can do decrement, which is decrement, and it removes values from this, right? In this video we are going to cover till bindings. We'll cover till bindings, and we'll cover others in later video. Similarly, you can spread, so if you have, let's say, on click honk, you are passing this. So if you don't want to handle this here, here props is coming, so if you do props dot, so you can do this on click would be props dot on click, right? But if you don't want to, right, if you don't want to handle this, you can simply say props, right? Now let's handle this bindings. So as we have discussed, like as per Svelte, the data always flows from top to down. So a parent can pass attribute to a child, and they can pass functions as well, which can be called by the child. But there may be a cases where we want two-way binding, which is the functionality already provided in frameworks like Angular. So in that case, they already take care of it. Even like we'll discuss later, but so if you have this and you have this, so if you do hello world, nothing happens, right? And you would have to do something like this: on input is equals to, and here you would do name, sorry, event where name is equals to event dot target dot value, right? You do something like this. So anything type here, it would be done. So anything that is fired here is updating the name, and updated name is assigned here. So instead of doing this, we can do two-way binding, wherein it would automatically bind any change in the input would affect the variable, and any change in the variable would affect the input itself, right? So and similar to it, like if you have this or in number or range, because JavaScript always emits values in string format, this like we would have to otherwise do the coercion, but this is taken care by Svelte itself. So if you do this, if you see this, it works fine, because with this they are already converting it and setting it as a number itself. Similarly for checkbox, as they are treated differently, you don't do bind on value, rather you do bind on checkbox. So and if you remove this, then this is gone, right? See how interesting is this, right? Similarly on select, when you have a select, you can do value would have bind, and here if you see, first there is nothing selected, and because there is nothing in selected as well, and if you do bind, then it selects the it checks like selected, but there is nothing, selected is undefined, so it would fall back to first option. And now you may question like why we don't do it here on the value itself. This is the object and this is done here on the value and you won't be able to find anything on selected because that is undefined currently until it's initialized. Similarly, if you're grouping things, you can use group. So if you see this, this is a label input, and if you want this, you can do bind group, and with group you can pass values that you want to check. So if you do this, now if you see this, it is correctly handled. Similarly, you can do bind group is equals to, and it should be flavors, right? So if you do this, it is taken care, right? So this is grouping. Similarly, on like we can have multi-select as well. So if you see this flavors, here is a flavors and here is a select at least one flavor, right? So if we do this each this, so we rather do this for each, rather than creating label and windings like this, we can just put option. This is option and this is a flavor which is in the option, and this is generated options, and we can do select multiple, and we can do bind value is equals to flavors, right? And similarly here we would have select. So if you see, we should be able to can't order more than one because one is the limit. Yeah, so if you see, if I do this select, it's selecting one. With like MacBook we would have to do this with command, and in Windows we would have to do it with control. So and I guess next is text area, which we are going to cover. So we handle text area in the same way. So here you can see this is a value, and we normally do value bind, and it would be value is equals to something like this. And if we are removing, we don't remove this, rather we remove this, so that this is continued. So if you see this, you are done, right? Yep. So we have covered quite a bit of details in Svelte. We have covered bindings as well, classes, attachment and transition we'll cover next, and then we'll move to advanced and basic Svelte kit and advanced Svelte kit. So this is all in this video. Thank you.